welcome back everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. Let us know where you're streaming in from. Welcome back to Adobe Live here on Behance. My name is Alexis Bustos and I'm here today with the amazing Phan. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm
excited?
Good. Yes, how are you doing guys? Hello.
Hello chat. Before we jump in with Chris, let's talk about what we're going to be learning today. So we're going to be going over applying a design system. And even before that, in about 30 minutes, we're gonna have a chat to win, which is awesome. All you gotta do is chat and you can win 100 Sticker Mule stickers. And there's a pretty cool consolation prize for all of y'all who just participate, so just stay tuned. And then towards the end, we'll be going over your DCCs, your design creations towards the end. So I'm excited. Without further ado, Chris, who are you and how are you? And I wanna learn everything about you.
Okay. Yes, I'm good. I'm feeling good, and I'm excited to share with you guys the little project I basically played with, and want to share it with you, applying a design system. How am I doing? Excited, a little bit nervous and things, but I'm very excited to share it with you guys.
It's gonna be fun, and we're all gonna be here with each other. I'm excited. Design systems are so important.
Yes, absolutely. It brings a lot of good things in the world. Yes.
It makes the world go round. You could even say,
pretty
right?
much.
Design systems.
I think we'll talk a bit about it later. Why it brings a little bit more fun in some way, shape, or form to the life of a designer. But yeah, it's good. We like it. Consistency,
consistency is key.
One part of it.
It's the designer's best friend.
Yeah, awesome. But also it helps you to just spend time to solve problems and giggle a bit more and have fun with what you do.
Awesome.
Okay, so who am I? Well, okay, so I was three questions, very simple. Who am I? What I worked on and what inspires me. So, well, I was born and raised in Paris, France. Mais oui, bien sûr. And then I lived in London, and now my home is actually New York. And I'm very happy to be living there. And what I like, it's traveling, scuba diving, animation, graffiti, and also photography, as an example of little things I really like. Okay, so what I worked on before, so I work in various companies. I work with within agencies teams and also in-house teams, and now I work in-house because I work at Verizon, and there's we are a nice bunch of designers over it's 50 or something, but there's nice chunks. We have in different offices, but good team. And I have produced work for both mobile and web, and a range of product came from banking, news, pharma, service, retail, and now technology. So there you go.
Awesome.
And then what inspires me? So, well, I'm curious about other creative trades. So what I like is to see how other creative think and do their work. So I like photography, of course, architecture, fashion, print, industrial design, or interior design. One of the last talk that I went to was Gia Cavana, and she was a textile designer. She's 80 years old.
Wow.
And it's just she's still rocking it. She's very sassy. It was really nice to hear her talking about practicing from the 50s onwards. So it was very inspiring. So for that, it's just how to hear how other creative work and think and do the things. I like to go to talks and listen to them. Really, and go mingle, see exhibition, watch TV, and remembering to rest my brain and let it wander, just to refresh, so you can have a new aspect of what you do.
Wow.
Here you go.
So important. So important. Everyone, take notes. We're about to learn something here.
Yeah.
Awesome. So exciting. We have some friends from Paris tuning in.
Hi, guys.
Salut, salut.
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 I'm gonna learn a little French this stream. I think so. Awesome. So exciting. And I love that you...
Congrats to everybody just joining us. Welcome, welcome, guys.
Welcome from everywhere. Where else is everyone coming in from? Is anyone else pretty fluent in French? Maybe we'll have some back and forth in French.
We can.
Awesome. I also love that your presentation is on a mobile device.
Well, because we're going to do mobile.
You're staying in theme.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Pretty much. Okay. So, shall we?
Yeah, let's
Sure.
begin. Yeah.
What are we going to talk about? Well, I like stickers. I don't know for you, but I like stickers, amongst other things. So, what about a little bit about the project? Why did I came up with this? I like them because I wanted to just use like also the other like the physical stickers, digital ones. Don't get me wrong. We're going to talk about this in a little bit. Also about the discovery phase, and how like I went like to do a competitive analysis to see like how many other people do it. Of course, other people do it. It's not like it was not that, but based on what I heard from my friends and how like I also like experienced making stickers, I thought like, well, how about like I just make my own and make it like more fun a little bit in some way, shape, or form.
Who doesn't like stickers? And
Exactly.
there's so many stickers are taking over the world.
Yeah.
So-
So it was like for that. So the main question for everything when I start like a project, and every project is always different, but it's always the same question, right? Is why do I want to do that project? Why? It's because, okay, I have like a little habit, a behavior change that I wanted to do. I have countless of pictures on my phone, and my new habit was to post it like on Instagram. And because I have so much backlog, I made that thing that my pledge to post them every weekend, 8 of them. So don't mind me, I'm failing like the past couple of weeks, but you know, I've just like resumed to do that. But I thought like, but I like also stickers, and how about like sharing also the stickers and using maybe slightly different, just not the image, and just make it as a sticker.
Cool.
But so, why was that? Well, because like stickers, seeing my friends and sharing all over like different like social media, why not? And using my pictures. What? Well, it can be usually like, you know, like any like screenshot, like pictures like you take with your phone that you want to share with your friends, right? Where different social media, could select different ones, and the who, but usually it's going to be my friend or whatever, like the audience and things. And then the how and when, well, you know, like it's going to be pretty much immediate and things for the time being, at least as a phase 1 of what I think of my little project. Maybe it will be delayed in the future. Let's go crazy. And how is all the mechanics of like, and how can I make it like, you know, like playful and just like powerful enough, just like to select a couple of pictures, make it as a sticker, see how it looks, and share it with my friends.
Awesome.
That's it.
Awesome. So we have, if you're just joining us, we're creating a kind of a social media, but for stickers kind of platform, and we're going to be applying a design system, which is exciting. I'm excited to get in this.
Okay. So what's the plan? We have 2 days to have fun with this. So the first one is the project overview, which is kind of, we just like talked about, right? The discovery, ideation, wireframes and prototype. It's going to be a very light one. You see, like if we have time with that, it's just to say like, I like usually to put it in a prototype to see like if I have every single keyframe, and I don't miss anything in my flow, right? And then on day 2, we're gonna do like the mood board and the mock-ups, and I'm gonna delve back again into the prototype with a simple interaction and a slightly like more complex one. It's not too crazy, but still gonna keep it fun. Okay,
That's great.
there we go. This is what we're gonna do for the next 2 days.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
So Chris is joining us from New York, and you're currently working over with Verizon.
Yes.
Correct? That's exciting. Oh.
Yep.
Designing with a system, and we were kind of talking about how important it is to have a design system in place. And a place like Verizon, I'm assuming it's of utmost important for a company that large. I've always as a designer have had a bit of trouble making sure I'm on par with my design systems. Do you have any advice for people just starting out who've never even touched a design system that someone else has created?
Yeah. Okay. So two parts, like because like I worked at Verizon and actually in a team like called like the CX platform, and we do the design system. So what is interesting between this project where there's like maybe one or two people, right, for the stickers, to a bunch of like of fellows designers that's going to use it. So the consideration are similar to a certain level, but also like slightly different, right? So what you have to keep in mind is just like these always start with few components first, right, to test with, and you're gonna have many iteration of it. You're never gonna get it right the right time. When it's a smaller team, you go faster, right? Because you start with like, oh, we're gonna think about this element and try to scale it and how to reuse that one all over again and over and try to make it usable all over various use case.
Got it.
Right?
So you're saying start small in general.
Usually you start small. It's easier because you see quickly if it works or not, right? And it works the same for whether that is with this project or the project that we do at Verizon. It's the same at work, right? We started with a small like amount of component and try to scale and see like does that work, right? And you tap in small little snippet of things. It could be navigation, it could be icon, it can be buttons. For instance, you see like also for my wires I call it CTAs and delve on how like the naming convention is very important too. What your designers, what is your crowd is actually like using and can find it, right? This big thing is findability, right? And of course, like the regular like style guide with the colors, the typography, the grid, and then the component. Right. So it's all that. So you see, there's like also like how you split your component. Is it like the name of it or a bunch of you call it component? It's just like, and of course, there's documentation out of it. Because it's help with onboarding. Right. So when you let's say you come and join me, you're a new designer, you can come and we're going to tell you, hey, you know, like this is how we work and things, and if you ever need to refer to certain things, you can go here.
Here it is, right.
So you just like, you don't left alone and, you know, oh, you're crunching your design, there's a deadline, and you're just like, oh my God, what is it? I don't remember the spacing, you know, I don't remember the font, even if you have
button supposed to
exactly,
be?
how does that behave? And all this is like, I know sometimes it sounds like it's less creative, but actually it helps with that, right?
Wow.
Because it avoids duplication of things, you know, like you just like, oh, I don't know, I'm going to create a new component. One thing, when you do that, and it happened to all of us, your documents start to be completely bloated at the end.
That's so interesting that you say it's actually, it feels less creative, but it's actually one
it
of the most more creative things you can do.
Because that button, it's basically give you like, hey, you know, this is how it's supposed to look like, right? So you use the component and you do your design, but what it leaves you, you know, when you do your wireframes, you can also still break that and just like let the creative juice come in, right? But when you clean up and you do the final bits, you see like, okay, so how do we do that? How we incorporate it? And also it helps you to think like, is it something that we used before? Is it, if you're introducing a new one, to be mindful that it's not only in a one-time shot.
Right.
And it can be reused.
So you're not designing out of the blue. You're not designing, if you want to do a new thing, you're not starting from ground zero. And if you want to embellish, you have the tools in front of you. And that's how important it is.
You can just grab and just drop them and say, does that work? And if you break it during your wires or during your drawing session, when it's the beginning and ideation, be free. I think it's fine. It's not about this. It's actually helping you to say, oh, you know, the CTA looks like this. And I'm just like, So actually, no, it's not how I imagine. Break it at the beginning. I think it's okay. It's what it helps you to be creative is what is nice.
I am loving this vibe we're having for applying an existing design system that maybe you haven't created, maybe your team has given to you. For all you new designers, you know, a lot of larger corporations have in place a design system. You know, so the question is, and the discussion we're having is all about, you know, how does that allow you to be creative? And so you're saying it actually can make you very creative. it can help you be
at the
creative.
beginning, it's true. It makes you think like, oh, maybe it's just like confining. It is in some level, yes, but it's actually some not, because you don't have to redesign them when you do your mock-ups. You just drag and drop.
Awesome.
It's just like it's what's practical.
Well, I'm excited to see kind of how we get this process started.
Sure, absolutely. So, I don't know if you guys joined, like for the past couple of days. There's like a super chick called like Mick Champagne, who actually like did like a stream about like how to build one, right? So how to build one, please like go and just like check like how she did it. But let's say like she actually did it for me, and this is how I would, let's say like I was onboarded, I read the documentation, I know what's the component and things. And then I took like basically this sticker sheet, and this is how it looked like, and it's what like the draft one for my wires and how I want to use it right today. So it's what I'm going to use. So let's like have a quick look into it, and you'll see there's a difference between the one that I'm showing you today and the one that I have for the mockup, because it changed. And this is how the evolution of 1 and 2.
So you can have a design system almost in place for your wires as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes like I do that too,
Wow.
right? It's just like it's like building your components, like you drag and drop. It's because he makes it maybe a little bit like simpler for me. I can use like some elements, and some others I'm just like, I don't know, just placeholders,
I see.
right?
Wow.
So okay, so for example, I may have like navigation a little bit, some of like the icons, right? Tick and selectors, caret, pagination, more. Usually like pagination has like dots and edits. Some cross and plus. Ha! You'll see why I call that cross and plus, because I use it at kind of two ways with like a different kind of like degree and variance. I call that CTAs. Cheeky. Maybe should be called buttons. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. And then stickers. Everything that I made for stickers. So it's a round sticker, a sticker folder, round selected, sticker shared, friend stickers with a name, and then graphics, right? You get the gesture of how it is being built, right? Okay, graphics selected, placement, platform logo. As per platform logo, what we meant was like the social media platform, okay? And then the folder page, you'll see, and this we have all the font, you know, so we went a bit like crazy on the font in purpose, a little bit. And then a little bit of the colors, right? Just like keep it fun, and like enough colors to do it. Okay, so now that you saw this, I want to show you.
You can get very specific very quickly, creating a design system.
Yes.
Yeah,
and it's what is interesting with like creating it. You think, oh yeah, I'm gonna do like this component, and it goes and you bloat it very quickly. That's the reason. Oop, I'm sorry. And that's the reason you kind of really need to, when you pare it down, is to do an audit, think about it, and just like when it is used the most, right? And then just like pare it down and say like, that's gonna be the most case use, and you go from there. Okay, so the project. Yes.
Would you ever, at this point, would you ever start building anything without building your design system first? I feel like the answer is going to be no. I feel like it's always the thing to do is to build out your design system when you're actually going into.
It depends. Frankly, it depends of the project and of the team, right?
Okay.
So, but you're right. If there's one in place, maybe you would cater it for a little bit like your drawing session, so your wireframes and things. You would not just start from scratch every single time. No, it's just because like this one, it's just for the project itself.
That's great.
Kind of did it. Okay, so the project overview. What I do when I start with a project, at least like any of you guys, I go and dwell about like what's the subject. It was stickers, did like a discovery phase, which include competitive analysis. So I go and just check what's going on, like overall what people do, and look a little bit at it. And I try to just stay a little bit distant to see too much of what they do, to not be influenced. But that's personal. And sometimes you can dwell the opposite way and to go, yes, because it
you try to
me
keep
down.
your distance when you're doing that generative like research.
Enough, right? And it can be like anywhere. It can be like to see like other apps. It can be like on Behance. It can be on Dribble. It can be anywhere, right? Just go and look of how it could be, and just like tap into how things like can be like repurposed, right? And then in that discovery phase, I do like competitive analysis, and I do the task list. One of these bits is the task list, is to say like, well, I wanted to address the always the same question: the why, the what, the where, the how, the who, and the when. It's always the same question, right? So, here, guys, my task list, it's just about that. That's actually was like this stickies. I use a lot of it.
Oh, yeah.
To write every time. And all my consideration at first, right? And the craziness of this is just like, whatever I said, like for what, for how, for where, for who, for when. And then I organize it, and then this crazy thing, it just means that's basically my keyframe, and this is just like, that's too much for me to do at first for MVP.
So this is this is like a pre-sketch. This is sketching with words.
Yep.
That's great.
So how I scale down, basically, what would work. Is it too much for the project for now? Is it going to help for the roadmap? Yes, maybe. But for now, I cannot do that. So don't worry about it.
I see.
Right?
We're just having fun.
Yes.
We're talking about stickers.
After that, I moved to user flow. So just like the regular kind of like...
Love a good flow.
Start, you log in, what happened when you log in, and then your diamond question is always like your yes and no answer kind of thing. So, and this is a living document too, right? So you do it like the first time, and then it just like, it looks fine, and you just refine it, because trust me, this is a picture of what I showed you. No, it changed. Of course, I had to move like certain things, just like some pages. And I try to start to also put what page belongs to who. It's just like, is it this? Is it page 1? Okay, this, how many page are we doing? So again, that brings...
And by doing that flow, you're essentially diagramming out for yourself when is the next screen? Will there be a button? A CTA, something. It's basically...
Absolutely.
Wow.
So because I did the task feature, and then roadmap, happy, right? So after that, we did a user flow, and the user flow tells me, okay, so that's the consideration. What happened? Yes, no. It tells me, do I need a screen? What do you need a CTA? What do I need to plan, right? Then that gives me enough. It's never really perfect. It will just like change over time, and in fact it's like the sitemap, what sometimes we do, this and this in fact usually change, and that needs to be updated at the end.
Love it.
Because it tweaks so much, right? Because of different things, requirements, and just like change, there's a better way to do it, but it just capture roughly what I want to do. And then I go to sketches, and then I go back to what happened out there, just like go and just like stop with your brain, just go do something very creative, see other things, and just start to sketch.
Just sketch.
I don't know, sometimes like I go and do sports, and then that unlocks creativity. Sometimes I go watch TV. It's really to get the creative juice going. I don't know what's your medium, right? I actually can draw a lot on the subway. I like the motion. You'll find your voice. And it works. Whatever works for you, then go for it.
Wow.
Truly. You'll find it. It's just like you'll just struggle for a little bit.
I'd love to know, chat, if you have any places that you feel most creative. For Chris, it's the subway. You're saying the subway. Anywhere there's movement. Like, what gets your brain moving beyond where, after like a day of work where you can't get moving again? Sometimes you hit those creative blocks. So chat, let us know where that place is for you. I'd love to know. I'm always interested. And you said going to museums as well.
Yes,
just
absolutely.
anything to relax it, but also keep it in a creative flow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
Okay. So you got the sketches, right? So this is roughly what I want to represent, right? here, just the splash, the landing of like the selection, like my pictures when it's selected, create my stickers. When it creates the stickers, do I want actually to preview my stickers and then sharing it and the confirmation of sharing, right?
Awesome.
Great.
That's great.
So this becomes like basically the wires that I have produced, right? With like
at this point, you're just kind of plugging in.
Yes.
Right? Because the creative process was come with the first Post-it notes. That was you really building out. Right now, we're just plugging in your components and working through those sketches.
Yeah, pretty much.
You guys, there's no secret behind designing. It just is this.
And then my process may be different and working differently than yours, but that's what's worked basically like for me.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's great.
But please share like how you do yours.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
We have people saying things about a lot of people are at coffee shops. Yeah. Oh, at the beach. Ooh, at the beach watching the sea.
Nice.
Oh, that's great. That's really great. Keep that coming. We're doing a chat to win in about 2 minutes, but don't worry about that just yet. We'll get there, guys. Someone just asked about it.
Okay. So now, after you see like that bit here, I showed you like everything that we're gonna reproduce. That was the end kind of like product that we want like to do today. And I'm just like gonna pick like the descent system 1, and I'm licking it. And look at this, it's nice and sweet. We have like all our component here. And we can actually start like to see like what's going on, like with our like frames. This is what I can do though. I'm gonna bring this back here, right? Oops. Nope.
So you brought in your
Yeah.
there we go.
Right, so we're not forgetting what it looks like. I could take like my wires too, but it's okay, it will do. Okay, great. So here like I have like basically all the components that I need like to start creating, and here we go. The first one was like the splash, right? So we're gonna do this. Oh, we're gonna do this too.
Ooh.
Why not? Why not?
She's a pro.
Okay.
A true professional.
Right. It was 2 up there. And we had like 5, right? Was it? 4 or 5, let's say.
All right.
Give and take. Can put it this way. There we go.
That's great.
Do we want to do up?
It's true. It's interesting when you build your own actual design system for a project like this, or even a project like maybe that's not associated with a larger team. It's those little things, those little minute things become like a thing to worry about if there is a design system in place already. You don't have to worry about spacing so much, and that's why design systems are awesome. You don't have to worry about the little things.
No.
It really is trying to just taking some of those stressors away from your mind, so you could just come up with a new concept, come up with an idea, or make one better.
That's not true. We don't need this here because it's the landing, right? So I just need text, and then we can say, "Hi, Jane."
So we're coming up at 40 seconds before our chat to win. Let's see, our chat to win, how about, let's see, what is your favorite, how about like Post-it color? How about that, guys? So we're coming up on 30 seconds. And remember, if chat to win, 100.
I'd say like mine is green.
Yours is green. I really like this bright pink, or like this coral red. That's kind of new. Yeah. So 15 seconds, y'all. Get ready to chat to win.
What is your favorite colors, guys?
Favorite Post-it color? Let's go with that. Because if you're We all have them. You probably have one on your computer right now. That way you can participate in this chat to win, get 100 stickers, and we'll be right back. Cool, guys. I knew you guys would have things to say about the Post-it colors. From favorites are, I like the soft pink or the soft colors because you can see better. That's so true. You can see them way better. Orange is another favorite. I'm really liking these newer kind of bright corally vibes. Light blue. Wow, orange is taking the lead, guys. Keep chatting, keep winning. Come on, guys. Teal, classic. It's a classic. Do you ever organize your Post-its by color in terms of like when you're actually like iterating on a board?
I use different colors. I don't necessarily use the gradient to play with it, but no, I use specific colors to do things. It changed from one project to another.
Yeah.
But, it was yellow, like what you saw, like for my image, and it's just like what I made, like, oh yeah, that's my keyframe, is blue.
We have a winner! Congrats, Tara. You have won 100 free Sticker Mule stickers, 3x3s. They're awesome. Put them all over your laptop, water bottles. And for the rest of the chat, you did not walk away empty-handed. Adobe Live 19 gets you 10 for $1, I believe, and I think that's just awesome. You can do a lot with that. Great. Let's get back to the pro.
That's okay. We can keep still talking.
You keep talking about Post-its?
Yeah.
Just gotta love them. You gotta fall in love with them as a designer.
What happened here? Where are you? Oh, it's because you need... No.
So if anyone's just joining us, maybe you came in right after the chat to win, we're here with Phan, designer extraordinaire, teaching us how to apply a design system. And she's also creating it's almost like a sticker sharing app. So we're getting 2 for the price of 1 here. That's awesome. Oh, evening from Istanbul.
Hi, Turkey.
Oh, that's the
yes.
These cards.
Right, and sure.
Awesome.
And
so right now we're just going through the wireframes that Chris has laid out for us, using components already built out for wireframes. So we're even applying a design system for wireframes, which is super cool. And there's so many tools out there already to help you do that, but I think building your own wireframe system is actually a really cool idea.
It's practical,
it's so
right?
practical.
Because because you use it in gray. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we could have used the one for the mock-ups. Just change the color in gray and just use that. It's totally cool too. But what graphic designing tablet am I using? Wacom tablet. I like it. It's practical. I haven't used another one, so I'm not entirely sure of the other ones, but liking this. What do I do again? Selecting ending. Okay. Gonna put a plus here, and then titles, and then that should be what? My sticker book? Yes. Ooh, wow. But this is where it's actually kind of nice, and I can use...
Referring back to the asset panel.
Right. And
good stuff. Very cool. Yeah, I don't think I've ever used a Wacom for designing, only for drawing. I think it's just a bigger space just to play around with. Do you ever draw with that, or?
No.
No?
No, not that much. Even if it's like really nice, like to draw, I actually like the feel of the pen.
Right. Just a bigger trackpad, you know? But a pen's great. What's a sticker here? Well, this is going to be a sticker sharing app, so if you're just joining us, that's what we're making. It's all about stickers. How can I make this grid? Ooh, we have some questions about your grid.
Oh, sure. The grid, you just like do this. Give me a second. Oh, come on. Okay. So, you come here and you do Command Shift apostrophe. It's how it comes actually up and down.
Boom.
That's it.
Start applying them, guys.
Right. So to remove and to add is the same.
Yep. And then in terms of customizing that grid, it doesn't have to stay the cyan color. It could be.
Oh yeah, if you do want to change like the color here, we're gonna change the color here for this one if we want to. It's totally cool.
There you go,
or
guys.
it's just like you can change the number of columns here on the right hand side, the gutter, and then the column width. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can make it as a default. So the reason you keep seeing mine is because I created the layout, hit default, and every time that I go like new frame, Command Shift apostrophe, it just like it applies it everywhere. Yeah, absolutely.
There you go, guys.
Just makes whatever like makes you happy or whatever the brain guideline actually asks you to use like the grid for.
It's one way to make yourself go pro very, very quickly is start using grids.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, no. Yeah.
What do you...
Very cool. Very
stick
cool.
it, my graphic folding card.
I'm curious in the chat if you guys have applied any design systems in your own practice, or if you have at work, or if some of you are in school. What are some examples of ways that you've applied a design system, or any questions about design systems really? We're an open book. Look at all this drag and drop, just dragging and dropping those components. Easy.
Yes.
There you go. Very cool.
But look at this. Huh, interesting. I don't seem to have like a graphic that is not selected.
Working through it.
Okay. But does it matter? Because I can just do that.
There you go.
Okay.
Just on gray boxes.
What?
Gray boxes, white boxes. Zubar uses a design system every day. Usually do it after the wireframing. Right. So in this case, we are using it with the wireframing, which is great. But definitely most of the time they're used after the wireframing part.
Yes. Well, yeah. Whatever
Depends.
works.
Depends on
It depends.
what you're doing.
Yeah. Okay. So space in here, space here.
That's a good question from Taylor. Would you expect to see all these systems with the wireframes and design systems in a person's portfolio for a project, or are you just being very informative? In terms of showcasing work and your ability to apply systems. Interesting.
Using it like as per like your storyline in your portfolio, is it what you meant?
I think maybe the question's around like are all these steps maybe necessary? Maybe that's what you meant, Taylor? From the user flow to the actual wireframes themselves, I think it's important to showcase your story and how you got there.
I think you can, if you used it, if it makes it important for your storyline. Just so like you use like a design system on your wireframe before hand, and how it changes or it evaluates. But is it like a evolve? Evolve is probably better. But I think it depends, just like of your narrative. Yeah.
So it's it depended on the story you're telling about your project. So if it's imperative to show that you can apply a design system, that's what you show something that helps tell that story. Yeah. So maybe if it's around creating an idea like an app, maybe showing those Post-its and those sketches and that flow itself, so people can see that you've thought through it. It really depends.
Look.
Yep.
Patterns. And then I don't remember which one was this. Can you give me a name of like a folder?
People?
People, sure.
Humans? I don't know. People.
Humans? We might put humans. Graffiti doesn't, it's not spelled that way. It's double F. I like this, right?
That's great.
Oh, I don't have markup placement.
A lot of questions about process work and documenting.
Yes.
This is this is it. You're working through it right now. Always important to save it, always important to have it. In terms of showcasing it, that's a different, like on your portfolio, that's a different discussion altogether. And it really does matter what you're trying to showcase. I like to keep all of my everything. I like to keep everything documented in some way, even if I'm not going to use it. I always take a photo of your sketches, always take a photo of your Post-its up on the wall, always take a photo of that like idea that you like scribbled down, because usually someone's going to throw that away, but you'll always have it on your phone, and just keeping it all together helps you look back and remember what you were thinking of.
Yeah, try to make like a mental note of doing it on a regular basis. I know it's hard. Like usually it's like at the end of the project, you're just like, oh my God, I need this. Where's all the graphics? Where all this? It's just a way of panic. I guess it's just like it's a behavior little kind of like check mark that, I don't know, make a routine out of it.
Make it a routine, exactly.
At the end of each week, do that.
It's like hitting the save button.
Yeah,
like pull out it's save button in real life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, because it is a slapdash at the end when you're trying to showcase your project or whatever you're working on. You're like, oh my God, I've been in this for weeks. I don't remember how I came up with this.
Yeah, pretty much. You just like, you will forget. So just like do yourself a favor. Just do it.
Do yourself a favor, people.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that once in a while you're gonna forget. You're gonna forget, and it's okay. Just be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
But
it helps in this type of setting in XD. You have this enormous space to work in. So, Chris's sketches, the flow, all the components she created for the wireframes themselves. They're all in this one space in XD, and it's great. So it kind of takes a little bit of the legwork out of it, as long as you are creating all of it together.
Hey, like I've noticed, like I didn't have like this icon, like created. It's not maybe when I want to put it here. Let's say like that doesn't exist. I have a round, I have everything. I have a cross. There you go. Let's make it happen.
Boom. Making a component is easy as hitting a button.
There you go. That seems high.
Awesome.
Splash. No, it's select.
Interesting question.
Yes?
One question about designing the design system being shared with clients. So maybe this is coming from a freelancer's perspective.
Okay.
Design system shared with clients.
Should we do it or not? Or is like the kind of the question, right? Should you share it with a client? I think it depends of the ask. What is your deliverables? If part of like the work that you need to deliver to the client, they ask, we need you also like within like whatever you deliver to deliver the design system that you use. Frankly, if you use it like for your mock-ups, yes. It would make sense because like if somebody else come back in, whether that is the in-house or another designer, like it's just actually like very nice to be able like to provide it because they worked on this and they can link it back and there's a master that they can feed out of it. But actually, I think it would be a fair question to ask the client. Is it part? Do you want me? I can create one for you. Would you like it? And then you go from there. So in that case, you're less in limbo, or just like, should I give it? Should I not give it? Because like if you use it, you create a design system, right? You see like where we have this here. Nope, we cannot see that, so never mind. This like that means that it comes from a master document. If you don't give the master document, it becomes a little bit more cumbersome for the next person in line. So I just like, yes, if you just clarify. I'll deliver this. Sure.
Maybe if you're the only one working, maybe if you're freelance and you're the only one with hands on it, and your client isn't trying to.
If they don't really mind, no.
Then maybe it doesn't matter. It really just depends on what your deliverables are.
Yeah, pretty much.
So have that conversation. It's great. These are great tips.
What happened here? Nope, I don't want to select this.
Justin asks why you prefer the tablet. I think you told the chat it's because you like the pencil. You like working with the pencil.
It is because at some point, my hands like hurts.
There you go. Very simple. Sometimes the trackpad is not the best. A mouse works sometimes, but even then, my hands are definitely cramped with mice.
But frankly, it's just more that than anything. Okay. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, you're here. Welcome back.
Yeah, that was a great question around design systems. All right, really moving along with this wireframe.
Yeah, I did a boo-boo. Sorry. But we'll be fine.
While Chris is wireframing for us, I just want to remind everyone that in about 40 minutes, we're going to go through your daily creative challenges. Today, we're talking about components. All right, so a home garden organizer is the theme, and I'm really excited to see these. But yeah, try to use those icons. Icon creation's fun. Just have fun with it, guys. Can't wait to see them. And this is the person that you want looking over your design, so get it in. Have fun. Don't worry about it. We know you don't have that much time to do it. Just start making.
I did the wrong screen.
That is fine. That is just okay. That is fine and dandy. Design systems. Yeah, I've definitely had my fair share of places I've worked that had really great design systems in place and places that had some not so great design systems in place. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? Like how it's always moving and changing. I feel like that's something I had to learn the hard way. We got so stuck on one idea of how something should look.
you start with usually there's always a semblant of master component document somewhere. Usually somebody's just fed up to like draw the box every single time. Really. So and it starts usually by one person to say like, hey guys, it's actually just like how can we make it a little bit easier, faster, more consistent, and just like spend more time just like solving problems and having fun with doing it rather than just like drawing a box. It starts with that, and then you start with if you have like something that you need to refer from the beginning that you have, then it's going back, doing the audit, say like what worked, what doesn't. And what happened to us at work is just like we've noticed that, it bloated so much. We had like 400 permutation of one thing. And at some point you just, because we try to cater for like one specific case. Right? And then we just went back, streamed down, and said like, no, that we can use one and just scale it back up and things. And it's not like nobody would just like intentionally wanted to break things. It was just truly like, okay, we have that deadline, we have that thing, and that's, more like playing and adding it to the component kind of library and not thinking, oh yeah, but what if like that's going to be cumbersome for somebody to come and use it after.
Right,
it was never really just like thinking like, oh crap, it's going to impact like that way. So when you go back and you clean that up and you say like, okay, no, we're going to just classify it this way, we're going to name it this way. It's when you go back and just like clean up and how the evolution goes. And as also like your design goes, it just like is that element that you called at the beginning really makes sense to call it that way. Does like really the designers, your fellow designers, actually call it that way? So what we had to do, we went like back and forth, the name of this, the name of that. And then we just kind of look at each other. And some of the teammates like who lead actually the naming like convention bits. So like, guys, at some point we need to check with other people, how do they call it? And we put it to the test. You do a sublet of things and you just like add them. Okay, so that's the design system. Just go and draw things. Repeat that. Exactly that screen here that we have. Just redo it. And we see like how they perform and how they do it. How do they look for things? How they understand things? How do they read things? And when it helps you to build your component, the size, the color, but the name of it.
That's interesting. You're doing your own set of like user testing on your system.
Oh, you need to. Our users are
yourselves, our designers.
Ourselves is our designers. And the more that you feedback, it's just like you always design for your audience. My audience is the designers. So when I'm not sure, when you're a bit like dwelling too much, you just stop. There's like many of them. Let's go ask them.
And everyone has different ideas. I can see. So it's like this mad game of telephone where everybody's adding into this component library of different ideas. Maybe some, we were saying before, maybe a pixel or two is off. But what happens after like 40 or 50 iterations that pixel keeps moving? And you had to come back and bring it all in together. And so that's why it's this ever-living document. Yeah. So it's whoever's creating the design system, you're almost like so meta. It's like the designer for the designers.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're not sure, like it's more difficult when it's like you design for like an audience which is outside of your organization. Right? Because you don't always have access to go and ask them. A design system is great. One, you build it for your fellow designers, and the most valuable is always test as soon as possible and get feedback from your users. My users are my designers, and it's just like it's very helpful. Sometimes you have gut feel. It's like as like you go and draw like an experience, like at some point you just like I think that's the right thing. But when you spend 40 hours on it, you see the ins and outs and the requirements, but you miss sometimes some elements that other people don't see. It's like, why is this? And that's the, oh my God moment. You don't say anything. You just watch them using something, and you're just like, oh, we missed this. In a good way. And it can be like for B2C, so business to consumers, or B2B, business to business. And this is our fellow designers. And it's just like, So it's
So
how like
meta.
you can just like go and morph and change it
Yeah.
like as you go, you know.
No, it's remarkable. My brain has just kind of imploded on itself, understanding that.
And also like you know like it's good to involve people into like people. I'm sorry. It's because I'm looking at something and I'm just like
Yeah,
looking for my words.
it's good to include
and things.
anybody in your design process, right? Just anybody in what you're
The
doing.
fact to include them in the design in the process is not just like for you know like oh yeah we can this test subject is not about this. Is also like it increased two things: buy-ins from your fellow designers, because you trust them to say like that's the feedback that you need from them, because it's what they're going to use every day. And if you don't work on the design system anymore within your team, guess what you're doing? You're using it. So
Yeah,
here we
this
go.
is really.
So you need a back and forth, because you design all for yourself. It's just like one team is dedicated just to do it for the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's all it is.
Design systems make our world go round. Let's not forget that. So maybe you have different feelings about how you use it, or maybe you've had a bad experience, or maybe you had really good experience, or maybe you feel like I could design a better design system. It's just another thing to design and another thing to get in front of people to test. We have a question about, let's see, it's all about the micro and the macro view. So it doesn't make sense to design your UI of the app as a macro view, and once the aesthetic feels right, go to the micro view and start defining all the elements that make up that system. It's a good question. So going big and then going small, essentially.
Yeah.
I think that can be also called, sketching.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's essentially a bit of, wireframing feels like it's, especially nowadays, going into a more, everything, there's a lot of already created components, there's a lot of, I don't know, it feels like already you're going into details. Even though wireframing essentially was kind of created to be more of a macro, overarching view of the app. Nowadays, people's wireframes look real good. So I think if you're thinking macro, you're starting with a great sketch or an idea, and that's your macro view. Pen to paper might be the classic way to start. Yes, Justin, I'm loving it. It's so meta. It's very cool. Design systems. I'm interested in everyone's take on design systems. Yeah, and it's so important. It's so important, and we don't think about them as much. When you're looking at someone's design, you forget sometimes that there's this whole catalog of components and colors and all this work that has been done to allow this designer to do this. And maybe it's been done by that designer, or maybe an entire team. So it's super fun to get into the nitty-gritty of this stuff. And there's so many different ways to find kind of examples of this. If there is, let's check out, what's the classic one? The MailChimp. There's a bunch of different companies that have put out their design systems online for us to kind of look at and take an example from. MailChimp is one example, and I think
of course
Mick showed it yesterday or 2 days ago, I think, when she first started her stream. If you want to show my screen. So a lot of companies do this, kind of put theirs out for everyone to see. It's important for transparency reasons, but everything from color to typography to their basic grid system. Some people had questions about the grid system that Chris was using. Here's, a great example of how a large corporation or any organization uses their grid system. It's the nuanced stuff like that. It's up for you to see and to kind of learn from. Even down to how data can be visualized. Everyone has a different style. And the idea of just being able to plug in something that's maybe already been tested for you is so powerful and gives you so much more freedom in your designs. yeah, even components. It's great. This is a great resource. Down to buttons. Another resource that I kind of like to look at is, because I'm the type of person I love to learn like the roots of things. So if you're ever on Medium and just type in design systems and see what comes up. There's a lot to be learned, and we're learning right now. But if you need some extra reading, sometimes I just need to sit with something and to learn about it and to really go deep. There's so many different articles being published about design systems and almost like the science behind it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So definitely take a look at whatever resources are available for design systems. People are talking about them. Duolingo has a great one. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, awesome. So talk about Meta, how companies use design systems to make design systems. Oh, my brain exploded.
What's the question?
I think you was just making a statement about how companies use design systems to make design systems. You're like, we can't. You're like, we don't have enough time.
Yes. Yeah. That would. How company use design? Example, interactive design system.
Wow. I mean, that's as, yeah.
Interesting. We don't like. I don't have actually like been like exposed to a company who does design system to make design system. An example like that was a question from Justin, right? So how to use design system to make a specific one for interactive design system. For us, the way that we categorize it, the design system, the overarching things of what you can find, and interaction would be one section of it. Motion,
behavior.
Yeah, and it would be almost baked to the component to a certain level.
I see.
Right? So it's slightly different. The architecture is slightly done differently. But that would be interesting to just use design system for interactive alone. If the primarily goal of like the company is to interactive one, I see why.
Yeah, it would make sense. It would have to. It just sounds like it's one more layer. But I understand what you're saying about, it could be baked into an already existing component. Like every time you hover over this button, it goes opaque or something like that, or takes you to this type of thing.
Yeah.
But specifically around interactive design systems, yeah, interesting. Or there's so many different ways designers are designing. It's going to be interesting. And design systems, they're not. It's one of those things that it's understood that they are constantly evolving, right? Going with new trends, new ideas, new designers' hands on them. So it makes complete sense that as the design trends evolve, so will these systems. But yeah, thanks for having my mind explode. I really needed that. So meta. Hello. Hi, anybody who's just joined us. If you're just joining us, we are with the amazing Phan, all the way from New York, but originally from Paris? Where in France? Paris.
Yeah.
Ooh, la la. And she is bringing to us an example of implementing a design system. We're starting with a wireframe, and then I think tomorrow we're making it look even better with an actual existing design system that she has created. Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry.
So the idea of this app is that it's a social media sharing platform for something like stickers, something like almost like digital stickers and sharing. Oh, hey Cornelian. Hey creatives. I like that. I like referring to everyone in this chat as creatives. That's all we are. Ooh. What is the definition of a design system? Ooh. I have a definition in front of me. I will read it. It's from an article.
Sure.
Can I read this
Yeah.
one? Maybe
I would say like it's a library.
Let's
go for it.
let's see if this one makes sense
Sure.
for all of us.
Yeah.
So a design system is the single source of truth which groups all the elements that will allow the teams to design, realize, and develop a product.
Yep, that sounds great.
Perfect. Cool. We have an agreement among this definition. And like we've learned, it doesn't have to be on something like the final actual screens. It could be used in wireframes as well. And that's what we're kind of learning today too. We got the hashtags in there and everything.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Because the way that I was thinking of doing it too is, you know, like how you always have, same people that you tag and things. I wanted to make in mind like smart enough, like to basically predict the one that you type all the time, and also like do like pre-tagging for the name and pre-tagging for your hashtag. And you can overwrite them, but I thought that would be like actually pretty nice to add this.
Awesome.
And I'm gonna use a...
Perfect.
Oh no, what happened? Oh.
Ooh, Jessica asks about the difference between a design system and a UI kit. Good question. UI kits, design system. So design system, UI kits probably use a design system,
Yes.
but a UI kit is basically...
How
would you differentiate the two
Would
of
it
these
be
things?
like more like the style guide? So basically like the sheet sheets that I have, right? Rather than... it's within the design system because you address... Is it what you meant? Because you address like the color, the typography, I suppose like the font like weight, the grid, the icons like you use and things like that. Is it what you meant?
That's probably what's in one of these. I'm assuming you mean like one of the UI kits that's available for XD. You know, it's typically just example screens, everything that kind of you talked about, color, typography.
Yeah. So that it's more like basically like to draw rather than... It actually can be like a good start.
It's almost
for
like
your
it's
design system.
Almost the question is does a design system become a design system is it a design system unless it... Okay, hold on. How am I going to phrase this? If it's not shared, is it a design system? If it lives by itself, is a kid... Do you know what I mean? I don't know what I mean either, Justin.
Okay, so...
Because a design system implies you're sharing it with multiple people are using it, or you're using it again.
But you can use it alone, too.
You can use it alone, but...
Just to fasten your stuff.
So then is there a difference?
Because like if you have a website to do and you have 50 pages to do, you can redraw this thing every time. It's more like a library of components. So I see what you mean. It's just like, but you can still edit like those rules. It's actually like pretty nice still to have them. Yeah, I see what you mean. It just like would be like more library on its own for you, and you do like your own rules. But in some ways, you need to capture them somewhere, right? And then, but it's when it's a group of people who's going to use it, right? So you start with your library of component and things, your style guide, library component, and then the rules, and you capture it somewhere.
Which you can find in a UI kit.
Yep.
You have a lot of the same elements, most of the same elements.
Yes, and it's your starter for your design system.
It's your starter. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be a starter.
We figured it out.
And you see, like, if it grows within your organization too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think system implies multiple layers of people working on it, sharing it.
Yeah.
Creating with it, designing with it, in something that maybe wasn't originally its first use. You know, say you're building, maybe you're building out something for mobile, but you want to use something the design system from like maybe, like for example, like from the company's website. Maybe you want to keep some of those same design language.
Yep.
throughout.
Absolutely.
That's when, for me, that's when it becomes like a system, when you hand it off to people. Yeah, a lot of discussion.
What's going on?
Component. So a lot of you are saying UI kits are inside a design system. I think UI kit is all
because
the
it's your style guide.
components. It's your
Essentially.
It's essentially the style guide. Yeah.
In a shorter format that you can drag and drop and put it there and just look at it and just don't read everything else. But yeah, it just like will be like kind of your starter, your master that you can go and grab and start immediately, like drawing.
Speaking of components, we are at almost 19 minutes away from the design feedback. I'm really excited to see what you guys are creating. We're talking about components as well. So everybody get your creative challenge submissions in to Discord. If you guys are kind of new to the daily creative challenge, right above the chat tab, there's a little tab that says challenge. Just go on over to that, and it's full instructions about the creative challenges. Yeah. Hello, everyone just joining. I love when people come in right in the middle, towards the end.
Oopsie.
The UI kit is something to share. It is something to share. That's a good point. Love this. I love this discussion. We're really getting into the terminology here about these things. All right.
Oh. Did I want to share here? Yes. No, I want to preview. Nonsense.
We're designing in XD, and we are talking about design systems. And you know, that asset panel, I think, is a really great kind of visual guide and representation of the design system that we're using for this wireframe here. And tomorrow it may be a little different. So make sure to tune in tomorrow to see where this project goes. I'm excited, very excited. Design systems versus UI kits.
Oopsie.
I do love a good UI kit. Very helpful. But, you know, kind of limiting. But if it gets you your creative juices like flowing, that's a great resource. Okay, 17 minutes.
Sorry. No, it's just like I was just saying because like I had like a screen popping up by accident. Cannot spell.
Yeah. And what's great is that these wireframes, we're like we were saying before, this is all basically plugging and playing. You know, Chris had already come up with the flow for this app, and then created sketches based on that flow. And all these wireframes are just representations of those sketches. And with the components already built, it's really coming together pretty quickly. There really isn't anything more to it. It's great. Preferred to do your own UI system because you can learn a lot. I think we all kind of start as designers creating our own our own versions of our design systems, right? It's what we're used to. I feel like when I first started, I used the same fonts over and over again for all my projects. And so creating it is fun and part of the design process. But you really level up when you start applying someone else's design system or a larger design system. You know, that's a really good way to put your skills to the test and see if you can follow those. You know, a lot of the times we talk a lot on this chat about, you know, different roles in UX, different new ways you can break into UX design. Practicing applying design systems is gonna help you get there even faster. So important to be able to do it. Do you think design skills come from creativity or by practicing?
Both.
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 Doesn't even miss a beat. Both.
Yeah.
You have to practice being creative.
Yes. Well, it's more like you learn the foundation, and then you get inspired by other people and like the way of working, but it has to be your own too. You have to feel comfortable with it. So I think it's a bit of both. I'm always like interested to see like how like people do different things. Am I gonna be like using it? Maybe yes, maybe no. But I think it's both. I think it's really cool to be curious about like how do they do it, and it just like it's, you know, what's really nice is to hear when somebody's stuck the same way that you are. Mm-hmm. And then when you just like, okay, and tap on, and this is when the moment you just go, man, I can't, and you're just like, hey Alexi, can you actually help me out? There's something, you know, that I'm doing. Mm-hmm. It's just like there's always like that moment that you always like, oh my God, I'm not sure about this. And as you start to say like, hey, that's what I'm trying to solve, it starts to unlock, and you play with somebody and you ping pong like between like, hey, I need to do this, and I started with this, but I don't know where it's gonna go. And Alexi says like, hey, but how about this? And it just start and spill out. It's never really one idea or one head. Is frankly usually like 10 people.
Right.
That goes.
Any idea has had at least 10 brains on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's both.
Yeah.
It's both. Just practicing how to be creative, and if bringing someone into, it's important to also practice bringing someone into your creative process and accessing all the minds around, leveraging all the minds around you. Oh yeah. Totally both. It's a muscle. Your brain's a muscle, you guys. Creativity is part of that muscle. So go to the beach, go on the subways, go to the MoMA, and then get your mind going in different ways. Yeah. You don't always have to be staring at the screen.
Huh?
It could be watching TV.
You know, sometimes it's nice to see the cool credits that they do. I like it.
Yeah.
You know, like
the
they're starting. Are you into like Stranger Things?
I love Stranger Things.
Right? So like how they do it is like kind of
yeah.
nice. Yet at the same time, okay, that's gonna sound corny, but you know, like This Is Us, like the very simple, like how they just like do like This Is Us, and you just like the animation just like is in. It's just like really nice sometimes. It's just nice to see that.
So many different ways to engage it. Vlad says go to Behance, another great way to kind of start stimulating those creative forces. Behance is really great. It's always been a great resource to check out some amazing projects. Okay. Cool. He says, utilize your experience. Peter's saying, utilize your experience to promote your creativity. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's also like it's sharing back to the community, right? Like it can be mentoring, it can be like anything. You know, like how like there's like talks about those people that I go and see. Like there's two. So because I live in New York, there's like this museum called like the Cooper Hewitt, and there's like two talks that I went like to see that it was like really cool and very different from one day to another. The first one was about like a designer, why he became a designer, because he was obsessed by the Concorde, because he had like a model that he did as a kid. He ended up to write a book about it.
Oh,
and
wow.
He was fascinated, and he had the chance to go and write on it too. And then the second one was like textile designer that, in fact, not even textile designer. She just touched into different mediums, like, like furniture design and things, and you just like, oh my God. It's so nice, and
just getting inspired by other people's design process and their stories and how they've continued to embellish on their craft, and it's amazing to hear people's origin stories. What was yours in design?
What's nice also, like, to hear also, like, when people struggle, not always like a super nice story.
Right, exactly.
It's what's
nice.
I
don't think anybody's story is gonna be perfect.
Right, it's just like they all
it's
have
not
like
you wake
struggle.
up one day and was like, you know what? I think I want to be a designer, and then next day you're on Behance. No, it's a rocky road.
Yeah, it takes time. It's okay, and be happy with what you do, I think. Right?
It's great advice.
Fun,
just
right?
be happy with what you do.
Be
proud of what you produce.
Sometimes, don't get me wrong, sometimes you're not entirely sure. You're just like a bit like, I'm not sure if I like it and things. And that's okay. You can always rework it or whatever. But I just like, be happy. It's pretty fun, right?
Oh, yeah. The minute it becomes not fun, designing's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what was your start in design?
My start in design. Okay, so I come from a family which is like creative, and that super mega creative person is my mom. She is a retiree now, a hairdresser, but she's a I cannot say the word.
Disciplined?
Yeah, no.
Oh, no.
Well, it's that word, but I'm gonna try another one. So she's a hairdresser originally, but she's very crafty, right? So the pressure's on. She just like everything that she does. So she did floral arrangement. She's great at it. She does sewing. She's great at it. She does knitting. She's great at it. She does cooking. You go on.
Wow.
Right. So it was really inspirational because of that.
I see.
Right? So, and she was like very, very cheeky because she made us like learn to play piano and other creative kind of things. So my family really liked music, and she made us to study that because she couldn't when she was younger. Until then, just no problem. And then it's just like it took a little bit like more time for me to really just realize like I wanted to do that.
Like work in a creative type field.
Yeah. It's not what I started with. It took me like a longer time like to kind of like start into it. I was always crafty. I like cooking and things like this.
I see.
Crafty.
What made you take that
leap
that
of faith?
shift, that leap of faith? Yes.
Because I was realizing that I come from a project management background, and I was like in a providing to clients, right? So more consulting kind of space. And I had a team that I work with, and the team that I work with, my job was to alleviate anything like any project manager so they can do actually their work, right? Yes. And then there's a big part is also mitigating. And then there was one project where we had to redesign an interface, and I've started to do like more like QA with the team and more like learning the design process, like with the information architect and the UX designer and then the developer. We launched that bit, and because I helped with that hand, with that side of the project, and I had time to do it, I just really fell in love with it, and I'm just like, I think I need to move back to production and leave client services. There is no hard feelings or anything. It's just like I really liked it, and just went back to school and just like, okay, so let's do this. That's the story. There's
no linear progression of how people get into the fields they're in, and especially with design. I think that's the one thing that everybody has in common is it wasn't an easy start, and they do it because they love it, or there's something about it that there is true love and devotion towards.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like and it's it has to make you also like, like as I say, like happy and things, and it's just like if it's just like makes you like really like wake up and say like, you know what, I really like it. And also, you know, when very silly things like I like about like doing this job too. I'm very lucky. I do not have to always like dress smartly all the time, and I can be a little bit more like dressed down a little bit, like to be a bit more comfortable when I work. So I really like that bit too.
Who doesn't love that?
Yes.
Jeans.
Well, pretty much.
So guys, we're at 5 minutes until the design feedback begins. Let's see some of those projects. Really exciting stuff. We have Chris here to. Chris and I are gonna love on these projects. We're gonna critique them. We're gonna see what you did, but it's all in good fun. We're here to make each other better. Vlad, thank you for your story. I love that everyone's kind of sharing their origins, or you're sharing your origin story.
Tell us like on the stream, how did you start? Did you start because you fell in love with like drawing when you were 6 years old? Because it happened. I've met some people like this, right? And then the new, or you know, that designer like that I went like to hear the talk about the Concorde, and he became a designer because he loved his model so much about Concorde at 6 years old, and bang, he wanted to be an engineer, decided not to, and said, I really love this, and I want to design and solve problems, and is how he became a designer. And I'm just like, okay, well then, how did you guys do?
We can share. Well, Vlad started 10 years ago. He won a bet with a friend who was obsessed with Photoshop. Great.
Nice.
It's good stuff. That's really good. Photoshop. Everyone's origin story kind of evolves around Photoshop, I think. That's so great. All right, 3 minutes, guys. I see 2 projects up on Discord. I'm really excited to get into those. Sam started drawing when she was young and fell out of it, and then didn't find it again until she was 21, or he was 21, and then jumped into it pretty heavily.
Nice.
I love it. Graphic design. Graphic design is another great intro for a lot of people.
Yes.
Yeah. Been doing it ever since. I love it. Oh, it's so heartwarming, everyone's origin stories. And now here we are, learning how to apply a design system, like the real pros. All right. So why don't we're wrapping up with these wireframes, and if we have time, we'll come back to them, of course, and we'll kind of discuss what we're doing tomorrow as well. But in the meantime, make sure everybody gets their design feedback creations in. Wow. Someone started painting murals.
Oh, that's so cool.
So great.
If you're planting murals, if you ever, I don't know if you ever went to Art Basel, Art Basel, like in Miami, the first week of December. I went there. It was not like the Art Basel time, right? But it's there all the time in Wynwood, and it's just, oh my God, it's so cool.
Love it. Graphic design into web, into graphic design into animation, then web.
Yeah.
Classic. Photoshop and graphic design. Yep. I can't say my origin story is that different than that. Also. Ren and Stimpy, yes. Yes, Ren and Stimpy psychedelic art got Steph into art. Love that. Oh yeah, those early childhood cartoons, I think, got a lot of people into this creative world.
Yeah,
for sure. The weirder ones, the better. You know, like the weirder cartoons, the better. All right, 50 seconds, y'all. Oh, wow. This app does boost creativity. Yes, I think it's the best when the tool you're using helps boost your creativity. The least interfering with what you can do, and the quicker you can get your ideas onto something. And XD does a great job helping you get your ideas on a canvas of some sort quickly, so that you could just start creating and thinking of ideas. I really love the prototyping function in XD. I think seeing things move, watching behaviors manifest, is my favorite part. Okay, we made it. You guys submit? Huh? Let's check it out. We are now doing some critiques. So if you guys just want a quick reminder of what we're looking at, we're going to be looking at this challenge, and it's all about components and using components to reuse plant icons and elements. So it's all about like a home garden organizer. So I'm excited. Let's check this one out. Bashir's. Here we go. Let's look at it. Okay. I love it. It's kind of like a grid.
Cute.
It's so cute. It's like a grid of a garden, I'm assuming. That's so sweet.
That's so cool.
Eggplant, carrots, I think that's a potato, snap peas.
Yeah, peas. Case carrot potato. Yeah.
And then we have water.
Oh, and then you can water it. You can like also like see like when you can plant it and things. That's really cool.
Yeah, let's watch it again.
Really like it.
I love it. Okay, so we're planting.
We planting like eggplant.
So there are
Few
your
eggplants.
You can see right there those components being reused.
Right.
That eggplant. So each of these icons, it's really working out. It's really working out pretty great. I love it. I wonder. It's almost like a Tamagotchi for like a garden, and I want it. Can you make this a real app? I love it.
What would be nice?
Or it's like a planner app.
So what's like what did you know? Like when you design it, like what the little water dot, like, and when like the little kind of like what is it called?
A shovel.
The shovel one, is it like helping you to know like when to plant it
Maybe,
through the year and when
maybe.
to water it?
Maybe.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Love it. Look at that. Look at those. Ugh. Great idea. Great follow through with those components, and they're all even the same.
Mm-hmm.
It would be cool to see what happens over time to these different components too. Say you don't water your eggplant enough.
Yeah.
Maybe like it's a little brown.
Yeah,
And
like
you
a
can
Tamagotchi,
easily-
just like, hey, you
Yeah.
haven't watered it for
Yeah.
it.
So that's where that tool also comes in handy, because you can probably be able to select individual components and not have to stray away from your original eggplant color.
Yeah.
Awesome. That was great. I love that one. Okay. Let me just refresh really quick, and then we will... I wonder if anyone else has uploaded. Nope. Okay. Okay. So it looks like... We're going to do this real briefly. It looks like today's creative challenge, Bashir was one of the only ones that got it in, which is totally cool. We're gonna look at yesterday's just to see. So it looks like a note card quiz. And flip in you're flipping through note cards. That was the challenge yesterday, because I see some challenges coming in for that one. So why don't we take a look at that as well? Why not, right?
Sure. Ooh.
So here we are. Very cool. Okay, so we got some cards. Very cool. There we go. There we
Nice.
go. That's smooth. True, false. Ooh, a little bit of a hiccup there. Because there it is, wrong answer. Okay.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome. Any feedback?
It's beautiful. Can you replay it again?
Yes, definitely.
I like the layout and the gradient is really nice. Nice. Oh, nice. You got like the good timing to do like.
Yeah. It definitely has that Tinder like feel, doesn't
Yeah.
it? I can see all of you in the
nice,
chat
like,
who
you know
that behavior.
what I like about the
Oh,
false.
look at that. That was great, actually. Did you see the Oh God, no, put that down. The heartbreaking up in the corner.
Oh, nice. The folds like fading in, also like as you swipe left. It's nice.
That's great, and it looks like there are different sets of cards.
Mm-hmm.
Oh look, French is one of them. I wish I knew French right now.
Mais oui.
I knew. Yeah, I can't even. I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna butcher the language, I'm sure. And then let's see. There's one more that came in. It's another quiz app. So this is from yesterday's challenge as well. We're just taking a look at yesterday's challenge just because to give you guys a little more time with today's, and that is just fine. So it looks like we can click through this. So let's explore. Nice. Oh, that's great. Space coins. What is the red planet? Mars?
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, okay. It's a little bit of a smooth. Let's see if I can make this bigger for you guys. Smooth transition. Let's go to the next question. Oh, maybe we need to just check out our profile. So it's a little, that movement's a little tight. It's not as smooth as some we've seen. Let's see it again. Oh, there it is. So it's going a little slow. So maybe just work
like
on the timing.
Yeah, it's just like, like how you go, ease out goes like, you go super fast and then you just like slowing down at the end. So if they ease out, you just go like.
Yeah, and in XD, that works. There's so many different variations of how to get
It
that
looks
to
like
work
really
smoothly.
nice though.
Yeah,
It's just playing with
the timing. Yeah,
that's nothing.
Goes. Ugh. But I like how we're noticing.
Actually, I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Right? So, like with timing and things like when you animate, how many times do you look at your animation? Like, do you play it to say like, I think 0.3 is like too fast and I need to add like 0.2, 0.4. It's just like, do you see like keep playing it 35 times? It's just like, wait, what? Is it like the right timing? And just like to tweak that final kind of bit.
Playing your animation over and over again.
Yeah. I do that a lot. I just like.
Here's another one though. This one's great. It's another case. It's happening very quickly, so it's a little blurry. So look at that. So question. Here, I'll drag this because it's gonna be. So it looks like, oh, there you go. There's that motion.
You go.
Yeah, let's see if there's another way to view that. No.
Yep. Agree with you, Justin. As many as it takes. Justin was answering like, how many times do you just stare at it to just tweak like the timing? Yeah.
3. Yeah. So it was a fast animation, but it was still there, and I think it's these numbers kind of shifting, and then the right answer kind of highlighting itself in green. What are your thoughts on this? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. No, you can watch. So it was really fast. I'll start it again. So again, if it's so quick that almost like we can't really see it, maybe slowing it down.
Yeah, a little bit.
But I see what you're doing, just adding a little bit of movement from question to question, or maybe it's a countdown. I think it's a countdown.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a countdown. Let's watch it again now that I think about that. Come on, play again. 4, 3, it's a countdown. Awesome. It's a little blurry on the upload, so I just kind of taking note of that. But I really love the progress bar. It kind of shows my answers I probably got wrong. And I think keeping it consistent, these colors consistent, is it looks great. Legibility, I can't really see it only because it's a little blurry.
Yeah.
But semantics. Okay.
I'm sure like on a smaller screen it will probably like, expand a bit more. It's nicer.
All right, let's look at one more from yesterday before we go back to you and so you can wrap up. But this is again from yesterday, another quiz. Oh, this one's, I'm loving the drop shadow on these.
Nice.
There you go. Okay, it's a
Oh,
language.
nice.
Very cool. What's rabbit? Oh yeah, great highlight on that and the great animation kind of coming out.
That's very cute.
Smooth. Oh, look at that. Ooh, you know what? I love the, instead of progress bar, we have like a cup filling up.
Yeah.
That's great. Very smooth.
A little tinker at the end.
One more time because it's so sweet. And these animal photos, man. My heart. Look at this dog. Look at him staring. Okay, so we have a hint button. It's great animation going away. We got it right. Really great. And I really loved your kind of your background. It's really subtle. It's really subtle, but it doesn't like leave me in this like white void. And sometimes that's all you need. That's great. Any thoughts on?
No, it's very cute. It's really nice, like really clean.
Yeah.
It's just like there's like enough like subtlety to the end. I really like the level. It goes like bloop.
It's subtle.
You know, the
you got
little
some
hint.
subtle movements here, and I'm really liking this. You know, this slight highlight. It's great. And like you get a hint just in case. It's great. Simple to
What
use.
is the first city?
Which one?
Okay, on the left, next to the cross.
This one?
Why?
This looks like maybe it's an exit. Maybe it's the last card.
Really cool. Looks really cool.
That's great. Awesome. That's great, you guys. See, we did it. Oh wait, we have one more?
Oh, go, go, go.
Let's do one more. Chris is cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Country.
Okay, so this is the quiz. Great setup. You know, we talk. Oh, here we go. So we have different card categories. Very cool. I'm wondering kind of about this add button. It's not super, I'm assuming it's an add button. Maybe it's a pull up.
I would think so too. Well, I guess it's just because like, it's more like a little bit unusual because it's a little bit like wider.
Oh, look at that.
That's the only
Talk
thing.
about design systems.
nice.
Here you have a
Very
great
nice.
example of all the icon assets, the colors used, even the font. This is great. All right, let's watch it real quick. If we can. Get me out. There we go. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow.
Nice.
What was the name of the second Indiana Jones movie? Temple of Doom.
So, yeah.
Yes, correct. Oh, look, and it pops off to the tree. You know, great movement in that add button. It looks like it's almost like the submit. It's like the ever-changing, evolving submit button.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Although, like, I wonder, like, if you. It's the first time. It's really interesting. It's the first time that I see like a CTA with absolutely nothing on it. Right? Waiting until you tap on the answer.
Yep.
Oh, the buttons. Sorry. So where you have like the question and then the answer, and then until you tap the answer, it's like a very different way to do like deprioritizing secondary kind of like buttons here,
like
right?
Here, this is
Like
this is a
with
great
this
example.
nothing.
There's really nothing on it until you make a selection.
Yeah.
And otherwise, usually you use that highlight color to indicate where you need to select. But in this card game,
I wonder if to play with it, right? It's to play with the contrast and deprioritize maybe like the button, right? To make it very different from the primary action is when you say like, I submit my answer. And when is not submitting the answer because the trigger here is to click on the answer and then you can actually tap on the button. If that's the intent, maybe playing with like the color of the button, or either change it entirely to deprioritize, or keep the same color but play with a little bit to make it a little bit different. Something.
I agree. Playing around with that and seeing what comes of it is really great. I love that advice. Cool. Yeah, it's a really cool concept. It's something, using that one space as your CTA, ever evolving CTA.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's different.
It's cool.
Yeah. So play around with the colors, almost, you would say, like colors in terms of deprioritizing. You think that would be a good place to start,
think
or
it's just
something
like
else?
Playing with, either you play with the color if you want to keep the same color, but it's how you think like now systemically of your buttons, right? So the primary is like the pink one, or one was used for the adding and for the submitting, right? So now to deprioritize, say like, oh, not yet. Then maybe changing either colors, playing or doing the reversed. I'll show you like on my wires. I have two types of cities. One is like, for example, this one, right? So this is like basically like similar to yours because it's like a dark color written in white. This is almost like what we call like a gauze buttons. It's completely the reverse or inverted, whatever you want to call it. It's inverted, right? So it's like basically deprioritized. There's still a CTA. Is the option to do something else, but then you invert it like to put like maybe that's going to be white and the outline's going to be dark to remind like that color. I don't know. It's just like to play with it.
No, it's a great example. It's totally a great example.
Or it could be like a slightly like, don't put it in 100% feel. I don't know, 50%, something like, I don't know. Yeah. Play with it to see.
You're obviously playing around with something really cool and just keep playing with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Great job, you guys, with these submissions. We get you have a daily challenge every day called Daily Challenge. So tomorrow we'll have one as well, and it will basically unlock itself. Actually, I think it unlocks itself earlier than even the stream. The stream itself right before ours. Oh, I might be wrong. But check out the site. Stay tuned on these streams. Every day we have one, and we will review them at the end of the stream. So get on board, you guys. All right. Oh, they're revealed like every morning. Okay. Cool. So let's go back and
so
guys, wrap up what we've been doing. Yeah.
So today, what we've done is just like I show you a little bit like what like we could do like with like a design system just using wires. Don't worry. Tomorrow we do it on mock-ups and a little bit more like on the prototyping side, right? But if we just like to replicate in nicer, cleaner like those like screens here that I think is going to be my flow for selecting a picture, to create a picture, and to send the picture, the stickers, to my friends, right? So it was essentially like those like 11 screens, and already like I kind of think like it was to see like, is it like going to be like what I want like to, do I miss anything? So that's the splash. I'm going to see the stickers. Then I'm going to just like see like, oh, my sticker book. I can click on pattern and just go like to the pattern kind of like folder and say, oh, I need to select like 4 pictures. I select 4 pictures. What do I do next? Then maybe I create them. Okay, so if I create them, 4 like, stickers will be created from the pattern folder, and I can just like adjust like as I wanted. Oh, I could even ask, here I could even add like, place like your image within that circle, because it's what my intent was. So maybe I should probably add that to my wires, like to think about it, right? And I can just like swipe it through. I can edit it, and editing it, it's like about everything. It'd be the colors, the filters, the shape. But let's say they want to do like a circle one, right? This is predicted like based on like the people that you tag the most often, and even like your hashtag, and you can add a comment, right? And when you hit next, well, that creating, maybe that could be an animation, right? So this is when I start to think like, did I miss something? Do I want to add something? That I start to iterate like the flow, and then it's creating it. Great, I see. So that basically my brain goes, okay, yeah, I probably want to do an animation. It's like that creates 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the CTA maybe actually can slide in and say like, what do I want to do next? Is it next? It is cancel. Now that I'm singing that, I'm just like probably not. Maybe I want to make share, say the CTA to say share rather than next, right? And now it's sharing. I can see, you know what? If I'm reusing, right? We keep reusing things, right? If my pattern here was to create, right? I can redo it for sharing. Now it's sharing too.
Reusing patterns. Yeah.
Right?
Not just in a visual context, but in a behavioral context as well.
And then sharing, and it will maybe select. So probably I would need to create another screen like with like when it's selected. After that, when it's creating it, usually you want to look at it like one last time, right? So looking at it like the preview, it's being created, doing through the same, that you have probably the comment. I'll change maybe like my wires to say like, you know, a little comment or something, but that would be like showing what I want, and like clicking share. Maybe the other one, it was actually next, right? I'm sharing, I'm selecting basically like the social media I want to share it on. Is it next? I don't know. Maybe I'll tweak that, you know, for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Something. And then sharing is the confirmation, right? So it's different like from my sketch originally. Maybe I'll go back to it and I say like, that's my 4 stickers. That's what's like, oh, it's not what I wanted to do. But it's okay. It's fine. It was like the stickers of my friends. I can see like my friends' stickers.
I see.
Right?
There you go. And by just like prototyping that very quickly, you were able to kind of come across these problems that you didn't think you weren't thinking of right away, right? Like you can see it, you can like actually see like, oh, maybe that button doesn't work there. Yeah. Oh, maybe that does work there. And having a system in place is that you're able to repeat these and create quickly and change as fast as you need to.
And obviously this is not going to be next, right? It's going to be like create new or something like this. And this, it can be like view my sticker books, right?
There you go.
Right?
So easy, guys. So easy.
Or something like this, right? Because it didn't make sense to have cancel and next. I just like drop like my CTA, my buttons there, and I'm just like, it doesn't make sense for this.
Right.
Okay.
Always reviewing your copy is also very important for things like components like these that have like maybe pre-existing text.
Yes.
Always remembering what that behavior for that screen is. What do you really want people to do? And that's where actually your flow chart even comes in more handy. Right, is making sure those screens take you to the correct next screen.
Right.
So it's going to be exciting.
But something like this, right? So if we go back to there's more additional kind of information, but in essence, I just wanted to show you guys like, okay, so that was like one of the flow that I wanted to cover, but also it's just like how dragging and dropping it made my life like simpler for the wires. Does that work for you? I don't know, your project is different than mine, but me, I find that practical. And then also it helped me to, 1, get my flow, 2, just see like the gaps, and 3, really, does that make sense? Is my design system solid enough? Do I need to revise it? Does the name of it of the component doesn't make sense? Do I need to group things? You know, all that kind of consideration, because that was iteration number 1. And before, let's say, like I need to share it with a client with my deliverables, maybe I go and revise those bits and pieces. But at least I know like how it drags, how it behaves. Do I like it? Is it practical? Is it really a repetition? Did I use everything? If it's a no, then it becomes maybe a bloated one.
I like this term you're using, bloated. Awesome. This like almost you're building out your system as you're creating it. So this is
and you know, like you know that one, guys, right? So on the component, when you right click, you can see basically where it's actually used. Where your component is used. So I think like I have one here that I haven't used. I wonder if this one I used it. Right? This one is used nowhere. That helps you to clean up your file and so that it won't make like the last cut.
Yeah.
So
you didn't make the cut,
Yep.
you guys. Awesome. Well,
much.
that was great. I really can't wait till tomorrow until we really get into another form of designing with systems. Thank you again for tuning in. We can't wait for the next challenge, and we're going to be here tomorrow with Chris, and I can't wait. Thank you again for tuning in.
Thank you very much, guys.
We'll see you guys
See
later.
you tomorrow.